Hello, everybody. How are you? How's your recovery coming? I hope well. So I'm almost 3 weeks post-op now. So things are going along well. I feel like just this week I started to kind of feel like myself again. My range of motion is getting better. So I'm making these yoga videos for those of us who have had a mastectomy or top surgery or breast reduction surgery. So I hope you find these useful. And anything I do, if it doesn't feel good, please don't do it. We all heal differently. We're in different places. So if I do something that it would not feel good to you, please don't do it. So I really want to work my lower body today because I haven't done anything really for the past couple of weeks. So I still am gonna do some arms just because that's what we're supposed to be working on, range of motion. But I also am gonna work on legs, but we don't want to put any weight on the upper body. So no downward facing dogs, no planks, no chaturangas, not even tabletop at this point. So nothing where we're putting weight on our upper body. So I've just selected some things that might help us feel better. Again, I'm going to do a little bit more lower body today than I have been doing just because I'm really tight in my lower body. My hips, my hamstrings could use some work. So, and I know right now and say to yourself right now, you may not be able to fold as far as you could before, and that's totally fine. You may not be able to fold very much at all if you're really tight. I know I'm really tight, so I'm not going to be able to do much, but it'll feel good. So anyway, I'm going to suggest we start in child's pose. So again, if this doesn't feel good to you, you might want to have a couple of blocks and maybe a belt handy. Just to, in child's pose, we are kind of stretching out our quads a little bit, but you can just start in a comfortable seat if you prefer. So I'm going to keep my knees together at this point, and then I am not going to be able to reach my arms all the way out and find the mat with my forehead. So I'm going to use a block. I'm going to rest my forehead on the block and keep my arms about here. Now I'm not putting any weight on them. So I'm not pressing into them. So the weight is really in my legs and actually a little bit in my head. So we're going to start here. We're just going to take 10 deep breaths, making your inhales and your exhales match. So pick a count. I'm going to go with 5. So I'm going to inhale for 5, exhale for 5, and we're going to do that 10 times. So just as you get into your child's pose, close your eyes. Let everything go that you've been thinking about today. You're recovering. We've overcome huge hurdles, and we should be proud of ourselves. So just let's let it go and let's feel just what it's like to move our bodies and just enjoy the stretch. So child's pose, 10 breaths. So here we go. Inhale 1. Exhale. And just continue in your own count, about 9 more breaths. Here you are. As soon as you're finished, just settle in, come back to your normal rate of breath. Maybe rock from side to side a little bit. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And we're going to come up into hero's pose. So this is going to stretch out our quads and also the fronts of our shins, but it's a pretty intense one. So you can always put a block underneath your bum here, or even 2 blocks or a blanket if this is too much, but we won't be here too long, I promise. So if this is comfortable for you, or just come to a cross-legged seat if that is better. But let's just start with the shoulders. So sit up nice and tall, shrug our shoulders up to our ears, and then let them go. So let's do that 5 times. So inhale, shrug up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Again, we don't want any pain. We don't want any tearing, no throbbing pain. A little bit of stretching is okay, but if you feel like you're compromising your incisions, then don't do it. And then let it go. So I'm gonna take my hands and I'm gonna clasp my hands together. I'm gonna push the palms of my hands out in front of me, and just really slowly, I'm gonna lift my arms as far as is comfortable. You don't make it up very far, it's fine. If you need to switch your seating position and come to a cross-legged seat at any time, do that, and then bring it down. Let's just do 5 of these. So inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, bring them down. Maybe each time you might get your arms up a little bit further. I can't get them all the way up over my head quite yet. One more. I lost count. Nice job. And release, shake them out. We'll take our hands, clasp them behind our back. This time we're going to bend over. Again, we're going to try to stretch the shoulders a little bit and the chest. So only go up as far as is comfortable. Again, you can also turn your palms outward if that feels better. If your head finds the mat, that's great. But if not, you can rest your head on the block. And then exhale, release, shake it out, come back up. And then if you're not there already, just come to a comfortable seat. If you've been in a cross-legged seat, you might want to change the cross of your legs at this point so that you work both sides of the legs. So let's just roll our necks out while we're here. Gentle, gentle neck rolls. Giving our neck some love. So I don't know where you all are right now, but I still have, bandages and ace bandages and all of that. So I actually had a really bad allergic reaction to some of the dressing that was on my drain wounds, and that's actually been way worse than the pain from the incisions. But anyway, so I'm trying not to sweat too much here. Okay, nice job. So let's do some seated cat and cows, because again, we don't want to do tabletop. We don't want to put weight on the top of our body. So as we look forward, we're going to shine our heart forward, look up, just like we would in cow position if we were on our hands and knees. And then we're going to exhale, come back into cat. Looking down at your lap, stretching out the shoulders. And then inhale for cow. You can even bring your hands back if that feels good. Exhale, cat. Exhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more time. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cow. Now let's swing around to the right. So left hand is on the right knee. We're going to take our right fingertips, bring them behind us into a seated twist. So looking over that shoulder as far as is comfortable. Again, not straining, just checking out range of motion here. This should feel good. Lower back. You can feel this into the hips a little bit. And then exhale, come back around. Let's inhale, go over to the other side. Keep breathing, couple of breaths here. It may feel really different on this side. And exhale, come back around. Let's try to do some side bends. So I don't know, let's try. Let's see what happens here. So let's take the left arm. Yeah, let's go the left arm first. So right hand is gonna slide out to your side. Left arm up. If this is kind of iffy for me. Okay, so I have an option here. I can just put my hand on my shoulder, or I can put it across my chest if that feels better. But what I want is a nice stretch up my side. And I'm keeping this sit bone down so I'm not leaning over. So whatever feels good. If you want to go for the arm up, that's great. I can only go about this far. But again, this is an option. This is an option. So keep breathing. And then exhale, come back up, and let's go to the other side. So slide to the left, bring, I can go up a little bit further with this arm. But again, hand to the shoulder or hand across the chest. We just want the stretch up the side. And then exhale, come back around. Nice job. Roll out shoulders. Maybe one at a time if that feels better. Going both directions. Maybe swing your arms around a little bit, just kind of loosen up the chest muscles. That feels good. And let's work some lower body. So I'm going to sit in Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, just making sure both sit bones are on your mat. So we're going to get nice and steady. If it helps to actually pull the flesh out so that you feel those bones really on the ground and sitting up nice and tall, your hands can just rest on your toes or on your knees if that's more comfortable. Again, if this is too much, so bringing your legs out is going to be less intense. Bringing the feet in is going to be more intense. So wherever feels good for you here, but we're stretching the inner thighs. We're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths. Let your shoulders relax. And then exhale. Now we're going to slowly walk our hands out in front of us. So, and we're going into a little bit of a fold here. We don't have to go very deep. Again, you know, if this hurts your incisions, don't do it. But just getting a little bit more of a stretch here. Don't have to go very far. And I'm going to walk my fingers just over to the left a little bit. So I'm getting a little bit of a side stretch up the left, or I'm sorry, up the right. And then inhale, come back to center. And then exhale over to the right. And then inhale, come back to center. And then let's take the forward fold again. See if maybe you can get a little bit lower this time. And then exhale, or inhale, sorry, come on up. Now let's take the right leg out to the side and keep the left foot in towards the right inner thigh. You might want a strap here. You can certainly use a strap. You might want blocks here, whatever you want to use here to make this. We're just stretching the hamstrings at this point. So I'm going to sit up nice and straight. I'm not going to bring my arms up over my head. I'm going to bring them up about shoulder height, and I'm going to turn over that right foot, and I'm going to fold. Okay, again, it's been a couple of weeks, so we're probably going to be really tight, and we might not get down very far. And that's totally fine. You can use your strap here to help you fold a little bit if that feels better, but just don't pull too hard on the strap. You're just using it to help you come down a little bit. Hands can come onto blocks, or if they can find your toes, great. Let's take 5 nice deep breaths here. Then inhale, slowly come up. And let's switch legs. So letting the left leg out to the side, right foot in towards the left inner thigh. Same thing. So again, you might want your strap, your blocks, whatever you need. I'll use my strap this time, just for a little variety. But we're going to sit up straight, bring the arms up to about shoulder height, turn to that left foot and start to fold over. So I'm going to use my strap here. That's just for a little bit of variety. And 5, nice deep breath. And then inhale, release your strap, come back up. Let's bring both legs out and let's just kind of see how we do in a straddle position here. Again, we might not go down very far, that's fine. But sitting up nice and straight, slowly walking your hands out. So forward fold is fine here, or grabbing the toes on each side is fine, whichever feels better for you. 5 deep breaths. Slowly inhale, come up, bring your legs together, plant your soles of your feet on your floor, and just windshield wiper your legs back and forth. This is really nice for opening up the hips. Maybe you want to try to go all the way over to one side, all the way over, but being careful not to put too much weight on your upper body here. Let's just do this a few times. We don't want to go crazy here. All right, so inhale, let's come up onto our knees and we're gonna just do some little back bends. We're gonna take it really easy. We're gonna do a sort of a very, very teeny tiny camel pose. So on your knees, looking straight up, take whatever's comfortable. If it helps to take your hands and put them at the small of your back, kind of like, like you're putting your hands in your pockets, elbows back. So we're stretching out the chest here and just lift your gaze up and see if you can lean back just a little bit. Again, don't dump your head all the way back so that your neck hurts, but just take a back bend here. And now maybe in ideal times, our hands come all the way down to our heels, but I'm not going to do that today. And then exhale, release. So we're going to stand up. You might want your blocks. So I'm going to take my right foot and bring it out. Then slowly rise up using my blocks to help me. So my right and my left foot are going to be parallel to each other. So both toes facing the front of my mat. I'm just going to come into a fold here, pyramid pose. So keeping the front leg as straight as possible. If it's a little bit bent, that's fine. But we just, again, want to stretch out the hamstring. And using your blocks, if you don't need the blocks, obviously your hands can find the mat. But just kind of play around with this. Don't strain too much. Just getting a nice stretch. And again, our hands are just here for support. We're not putting weight on our shoulders here. Okay, inhale, come up. Now I'm going to have you turn to your left into a wide-legged forward fold, but I'm going to turn around and face the computer. So you're facing left. We're going to come into a nice wide leg forward fold here. So we want our toes pointing out, heels pointing in. We're just going to just lower our bum a little bit and just work our quads a little bit here and then come back up. So goddess pose, if you'd like to do the arms, you can do that. So star pose and then into goddess pose. Make sure your knees you can see your big toes so that your knees aren't sort of folding. Star, and then for goddess. Come up for star. 2 more times. Got it. Come up for star. Nice job. Come up for star. And then you're going to turn to the other side, grab your blocks if you need them, and take your pyramid on this side. So this time stretching out the right hamstring. So feet are parallel, both toes facing the back of your mat this time. And we're going to slowly fold into pyramid pose. Use your blocks at any height. And again, don't strain. Try to keep the right leg as straight as possible. No weight on the hands here. They're just here for support. Three more breaths. Nice job. Now come around facing the right on your mat, again into that wide-legged position. So this time we are going to fold here. So you can begin with your hands on your hips. So feet are parallel to each other here. So we want the toes pointing forward. And we're just going to slowly fold. So bending at the waist and fold over. Your hands can come down to your shins. They can rest on the mat. They can always rest on blocks. Now, if you want a little bit more shoulder action, you can clasp the palms behind your back and just kind of let gravity work the shoulders. If you have a bend in your legs, that's fine, but if you can straighten them, you'll get more of a stretch. And then exhale, release the arms. Maybe, again, without putting a ton of weight on or any weight on your hands, just kind of sway side to side. If this doesn't work for you, stand up and we'll do it this way. So just kind of some lunges to the right and left, working the hips a little bit. If you want to do these with your hands on the ground, you can do that. But again, we're not putting any weight. Nice job. Come on up. So we'll come down to our seat again. And let's do a little core work. These are our favorites, right? So core is important. This is actually something that we can do. We don't want to exert ourselves. So no exertion for 6 to 8 weeks. So we don't want to get our heart rate up too much. So if this is going to be too much, there are a lot of variations, but we're going to do both. But again, I can't sweat too much. I don't want my heart rate to get up too much. So I'm not really going to challenge myself a lot here. So soles of the feet on the floor, hands either on your shins or behind your thighs, and just lean back, keeping your spine nice and straight. So we're working our abs here. Looking up to the ceiling. So you don't want to round your spine. You want to keep your spine straight. If you'd like to release the arms, that'll give you a little bit more here. And obviously, if you feel up to it, float the feet, but I think that's going to be too much for me today. That's going to make me sweat. A couple more breaths here. And then exhale, release. So let's come down all the way onto our backs here. And we'll just do we'll do some twists, do some more hip work, and then we'll have Shavasana. So just slowly come down onto your back. Bring your heels in close to your body. We're going to do a couple rounds of bridge. So again, we don't want, the weight is not going to be on our shoulders. The weight is going to be actually on our heels. So bringing your heels in close to your glutes, arms can stay down by your side. We're just going to lift the hips up, keeping the knees in. Again, we're not really putting a lot of weight on our upper body. All the weight is really in our feet here. You can clasp your hands underneath if that feels good. 2 more breaths. And then exhale, release it back down. Just take a little bit of a break here. Maybe do a little more windshield wipering. We're going to do 2 more rounds of that, 5 breaths each. Okay, so when you're ready, put your heels back towards your bum and lift the hips. 5 breaths. And then exhale, release. So on this last round, if you're getting tired, you can use a block to let a little bit of a supportive bridge. So again, I'm going to lift up my hips. I can take the block at any height, just kind of shove it under my sacrum. And I'm going to go a little bit higher. And then let gravity kind of do the work. Again, I have no weight on my upper body. All my weight is here right now. 5 breaths. And then exhale, lift up your hips just enough so you can slide the block out and release it back down. Good job. Take your knees, bring them into your chest. How does it feel to be moving your lower body a little bit? How does it feel to be stretching out those legs, those hips, working the lower back a little bit? Feels good to me. So again, if you're sore at this point, if you're fatiguing, stop. I'm just going to do a couple more things and then we will find Shavasana. So plant the soles of the feet on the floor. Take the right leg and cross the right ankle over the left knee. So you can use your right hand to push the right knee forward, or if you'd like to lift the left leg and bring the left leg in close to you. So we're getting a nice stretch up the back of the right hip, and clasp your hands behind the left thigh. Flex the right foot. Left foot can do whatever it wants, maybe in ankle circles. But we don't want to be pressing too hard with this right elbow. We don't want to risk anything bad happening. Couple more breaths here. And then exhale, release it back down. Nice job. Now I'm going to switch and do the other leg. So plant the right sole of the foot, take the left ankle, cross it over the right knee. And maybe you stay here. So using your left hand to just push the left knee out. Or if you want a more intense stretch, lifting the right leg, clasping your hands behind the right thigh, flex the left foot. Maybe make circles with the right. Couple more breaths. And then exhale, release. Nice job. Bring your knees into your chest, maybe rock a little bit. Let's just do some supine twists. So just rocking, bringing your knees over to whatever side, it doesn't matter. So keeping the knees stacked. This feels good. I'm going to my right side first. So with the arms, we have a couple of options, right? So normally, maybe we'd have our arms out to a T, but I don't know, maybe that doesn't feel good. Arms can certainly just stay right here on your knees. What we want is the twist. So turning your head, if you're on your right side, just turning your head to the left. So you get a little bit of a twist in the spine. Maybe your left arm comes up. I'm just going to put it on my head, actually. That feels kind of good. Few more breaths here. And then exhale, release. So come back onto your back, rocking a little bit more. And then we're going to go over to the other side. So knees over to the other side. I'm going to put my right hand on my head like this, but I'm going to look over to my right. Just so I feel the twist in my spine here, but not hurting my chest. Actually, that hurts. Adjustments. Adjustments are good. And then bring your legs back up to center. Maybe just let your legs go. Just shake them out a little bit. Maybe kick them up in the air a little bit. Just get the blood flowing. Maybe you do little legs up the wall. So keep the legs up just for a couple of breaths, just so the blood flows a little bit. Hands can come down to your sides. Stay here as long as you want. And then whenever you're ready, just slowly lower your legs and then extend them out and take your Shavasana. So just come back to your breath. Do a quick body scan. Just kind of notice how you feel after that movement, especially in the lower body. Or if you're like me, you haven't really been exercising your lower body much. I've been focused so much on my upper body. Feels good. Stay here as long as you want. I'm going to take 10 more breaths. And when you're ready, start wiggling your fingers and toes. Maybe roll your head side to side. Take your arms up, just up over your head a little bit. Oops, no, I'm not doing that. Don't do that. Bring them out to the side a little bit. That feels good. But when you're ready, just hug your knees into your chest. Yeah, I think I've reached my limit there. So I think we're good for today. So if we're ready to close our practice, just close your eyes. Just take another couple of breaths, bringing your hands to your heart center. Just a little appreciation for yourself, all the hard work you're doing and all that you've been through, and how quickly we're healing, or maybe it doesn't feel quick enough, but we are healing. Well, I hope this practice has been helpful for you today. It really did feel good for me to stretch my lower body a little bit. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a great continued recovery. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Bye.